Cary Baker is a retired major in the Canadian military and a proud prepper. He owns a military kit shop in Hanwell, New Brunswick. He believes that in the near future, there may be a catastrophic event that we need to be prepared for. After COVID-19, many people that once thought preppers were paranoid have come to reconsider their opinion. So, do you think your background in the military is what caused you to be more nervous about the state of the future and what you need to do to be prepared?
Absolutely. What people probably don't realize is I spent 25 years in the military, but during that time, I did a number of deployments. I did one to Bosnia for 8 months. I did another deployment for 6 months to Ethiopia, Eritrea, and I also served on 5 tours in Afghanistan. Believe you me, I have seen the worst, that man has to offer in some of these places. You have to be ready for anything. I get it, we're in Canada. People don't think those type of things can happen in Canada, but believe you me, history has proven otherwise. We live in our own little bubble here, I think, in Canada, and we don't realize how bad it is in other countries and what people have to go through. If something does happen, there are a lot of people in this country that aren't as well prepared as they should be, to look after themselves, their family, their property, and survive if things go bad and the government isn't there to help you. So I think the power going out is probably what I would call the most common denominator when it comes to being prepared. The reason being, Mother Nature has shown us that we're here by invitation only, and when she wants to wreak havoc on us, the result usually is no power. We are living in a society now where cyber terrorism is more prevalent. And I think the first thing that any foreign power might do via cyber attacks is go after your critical infrastructure, and the primary one being power stations.
So if the power goes out, can you describe to me what would then happen on a civilizational level?
So when the power goes out, it's pretty obvious. Your lights aren't on anymore, your TV doesn't work, your satellite TV doesn't work, your phone's probably not working, your cell phone is probably not working because the cell phone towers, use power, same power that, puts the lights on in your house. The next thing is people start to panic. Do they have enough food? Do they have enough water? Do they have enough gasoline? Unfortunately, by then, unless the government is, bringing in a truck in full of food and water, there's no recourse. You can't go to the stores because the power's off. Of course, you can't go to the store because you have no money. Number one, the banks are going to be down. Credit cards and debit machines aren't going to work anymore. Then you start seeing a run on supplies, any way that people can get them. Keep this in mind. The stores that have food, that's all they've got, and when that stuff is gone, there's no more coming. Because you got to think big picture here. Trucks that move supplies around the country, trains, etc. None of those are going to be running anymore. There is not going to be supplies moved around. Another big thing you got to think about too, everybody has that desire to look after themselves, their family, and their property. People working at stores aren't going to be going to the stores. There's a potential for people that are even in the military and law enforcement, their priority is going to be their own families.
So if you don't mind me getting quite grim, in a situation where the power goes out and the food starts going rotten, how long do you think it would last until most people would be dead?
Well, that's a good question. I'm of the belief that, and when you think about my rule of 3, no air for 3 minutes, no water for 3 days, and no food for 3 weeks. If you can survive that 3-week period, I would say probably 70–80% of those that weren't prepared to survive independently for 3 weeks, they're going to be dead and gone. And the ones that are still around are the ones that are going to have the water supply, the food supply, the fuel supply. I would say, give or take, a month, maybe 2. Those that aren't prepared, I don't know if we'd have to worry about them much longer, because I don't think they'll be around. I personally believe the worst situations are going to be in the larger cities. Most people live in apartments and small condos or small homes, and they rely on the grocery store every 72 hours, 96 hours to go and, pick up their groceries. They don't stock more than, several days at a time.
Do you think there's a stigma around preppers?
Yeah, stigma.
And preppers is like the correct term, right?
Yeah. Is there a stigma against preppers? I don't know, to be honest with you. There could be. Some people probably think that we're crazy, that we're planning for, we're preparing for something that may never happen. What do I say to them? I hope you're right. If being a prepper, me in somebody else's eyes, a potential whack job, I'm just the type of guy that likes to be prepared. At the end of the day, I live on the saying, better to have and not need than to need and not have. Okay, great. I have, maybe stuff I'll never use in my life, but hey, if I need it, at least I know I have it. The majority of people that come into my shop, I hate to say it, maybe it's not what the government wants to hear, but they're not exactly, confident that, the government, whether it's federal or provincial, that can truly look after them if things got really, really bad. So yeah, I'm a prepper, proud of it, to be honest with you. I just think it's, prudent, and it's, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, my main concern is looking after my family, my property, and my friends,